Hello, welcome back once again to another episode of Jammin' Dude's Neighborhood. We're wrapping up a series this week. It was with a lot of emotion that I went into research the newest Riverside album, Eye of the Soundscape. And I will start off by saying that this album is not for everyone, but I was really amazed. You know when this album is best? I listened to it a little bit in the car, and I listened to it a little bit at home, but where it really kind of came together for me was when I was at work, and I get a chance to listen to my iPod while I'm at work. And currently, the job that I'm doing right now is a little bit repetitive. So I'm able to just kind of, and I don't mind so much, because it gives me a chance to just kind of, I'm staying busy, I'm doing something, and I get a chance to just jam out on my tunes. It's kind of nice for that. And that's the thing is, you know what really captured my imagination is, I will say to prog fans, and I know there are a lot of you out there that are big fans of like the instrumental works of Alan Parsons, and I have several albums too by Jean-Michel Jarre. And if any of you out there are fans of that, I cannot recommend this album enough. Eye of the Soundscape is just a beautiful, and the title fits it perfectly. What a stunning tribute. I had expected to see Piotr on more of the tracks. There are several tracks on which he does not appear. But I know, in doing a little bit of research on this, that this was exactly the album that they wanted to do at this point. I don't think this was ever meant to be like a proper Riverside album. It was more like, hey, this is something that we're doing. This is something that we enjoy doing. This is like a collection of songs that we've been working on over the ages. And I was not aware that, I knew about night sessions. I had night sessions on my version. That's why I didn't want to get to it till I got here. But I guess on the liner notes inside, it says that several of these pieces have actually been B-sides in the past, and there's only just a few new tracks. Rapid Eye Movement has been remixed. I don't have the original of Rapid Eye Movement, which I know only appeared on the 2-disc version of the album for which it's named. And several of the other tracks, too, were available previously. I'm going to start with Where the River Flows. What a great way to start the album. Probably the best track is the beginning. And again, just stunning work all the way around. And ending on Marius's vocals, too. There's no actual, how do I put it? There's no lyrics, obviously. But Marius does a lot of his vocal sounds that he does so well. Sometimes they sound like words, but that's what I love about it, is that he's not really saying anything, but your imagination can kind of capture what it's kind of saying to you. So I like the way that where the River Flows builds. I like where it goes. I like how it ends. It is a great Riverside track. Shine is a little shorter, and keeps the pace really well, kind of grabs your attention. Rapid Eye Movement, being as that I had never heard it before, that was amazing. The Night Session, now I was familiar with these tracks. What I want to say is that I was not a huge fan when I heard them on the Shrine of New Generation Slaves album. Hearing them several times here, I'm still not... Part 1 is better than Part 2. I'm still not completely stunned by that one. And I will say that given the electronic atmosphere of most of the rest of the album, Night Session kind of stands out. It is more organic, but it doesn't feel like it fits with the rest of the theme of this album, which is there's a lot more electronic and looping being done here. Sleepwalkers opens up disc 2, which again I just love, and Rainbow Trip also is excellent. I wish it makes me want to go out and get a Rainbow Trip, especially I think was an older piece. It makes me want to go out and try to find the original. Then we have Heavenland, Return, Ether, Machines, Promise. They are some shorter pieces, while Ether's not as short. This is where the album it did slow down for me a little bit through this section. But there's there are some highlights. Machines and Promise in particular, I do remember those, and I was able to get into those a little bit more. Some of the other pieces are quite a bit slower. Eye of the Soundscape takes a long time to get started, but turns into like the perfect statement to end this album on, and a perfect statement to the end of an era, because Riverside is never going to be the same. It'll be interesting to see where they go, and I'm really looking forward to see what they have next, because now that, this is going to make a perfect piece in their catalog moving forward, because we've almost had a couple of trilogies now. We had the Reality Dream trilogy, and then what Marios has dubbed the Crowd trilogy, and now we have this sort of soliloquy, as it were, and it works on that level. And like I said, if you're a fan of ambient music, you're going to love this, because I can see myself pulling this out. You have to be in the mood for it. It's very, very different from any of the rest of their stuff. It's not going to be something that's going to be on a regular... If I were making a Riverside playlist, I'm not sure I'd use any of these songs. If I were in the mood for this album, I would just take out this album, and I would just want to sit back here in my man cave and almost breathe it. And that's what you can... I mean, that's what this album is like. You almost have to breathe it and drink it in. And it works on that level, and I think the guys in Riverside did an amazing job. And as this album makes this statement, it leaves the door open, because if they wouldn't have released this album, you would have been looking for a follow-up to Love, Fear, and the Time Machine. But since they got an opportunity to make this statement, it kind of leaves the door open for them to incorporate bits and pieces of it and streamline it and make it more a part of Riverside sound moving forward, which is something that I am looking forward to. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you didn't get it, some of you know, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm a full-time caregiver of my mother-in-law, who's been very ill all this month. It's been extremely difficult to keep up, but I do this because I love it. And rather than post a second review about Love, Fear, and the Time Machine, I reposted an older review to save on some time, and I did that last week. But I want to say, Marios, if you're watching, thank you. Thank you for some of it. To the other guys, to all of Riverside, as a matter of fact. Piotr, may you rest in peace, and maybe we will see you again someday. And until then, many more awesome albums for Riverside. And we appreciate that you guys are going to keep moving forward and honor Piotr's memory. And coming up next on the Jammin' Dude Show, I am really looking forward to getting deep into the brand new Odd Logic album. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think they are the greatest new prog metal band in the world today. I'm not just saying that because I know the guy. I was actually ready to be really lukewarm on this band when I met the guy, and then it turned out that it just blew my doors off. So, Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you very soon once again on Jammin' Dudes Neighborhood.